Or is there more details on this? I'm so happy to listen to you in the past year about crypto. Watch the original. More
crashing,
details.
and two of the world's largest cryptos, Luna and UST, face extinction from a multi-billion-dollar bank run. That's billion with a B. As of recording, I still don't know if these coins are going to recover, and the big question on everyone's mind is, how did this happen? I brought on an expert to explain it, but first we have to talk about the basics of this stuff. Terra USD, also known as UST, is an algorithmic stablecoin, which is different from fiat-backed stablecoins like Tether, which at least pretend to be backed by real money. Algorithmic stablecoins, on the other hand, aren't backed by anything. The way they maintain their peg to the US dollar or euro is with market dynamics by incentivizing arbitrage. Usually, there's a pair of tokens, one of them paired to the currency, and the other can fluctuate. And I'm not going to get into exactly how this arbitrage thing works because it's quite complicated and others have covered it in a great amount of detail. The point is that usually these things work really well and make a lot of money for everyone right up until they don't and things go boom. Historically, every single algorithmic stablecoin has eventually lost their peg in what's known as a death spiral, where people lose their faith in the coin finally and rush for the exit. And because this stablecoin is not collateralized in any real way, most people end up losing their money in these exit situations. Famously, Mark Cuban got wrecked with a stablecoin called Iron and its Titan pair. Many people have compared this token pair to UST and Luna. However, there are differences which we're gonna get into. But the point is, there's been a lot of failure in the algo stablecoin space, which you need to know about. People meme about all the different failures and say, look, you guys are trying alchemy. It's impossible. You can't create value from nothing. Despite this fact, it hasn't stopped people from trying. Every time a new
it is though. Faith-based currency is exactly what it is. That's literally what it is, dude. What are you doing? Oh my god. The thing is, if it was collateralized, right? You can't base it off of, you can never compete with like someone with a bigger dick than you regardless, okay? No matter what happens, you don't have unlimited assets, and ultimately you can never compete with fiat currency because fiat currency is backed by, and you guys already know this, the long dick of the government, and the government's dick is so long, dude. You will unimaginable lengths of cock from the government, okay? Bro, isn't the USD faith-based currency? No, dude, no. What do we do? What do we talk about here? Why are you in a leftist community if you do not fucking understand that, like, yes, of course, the American dollar is in many ways backed by the confidence because it's not fucking tethered to, like, it's not gold standard anymore, right? But that confidence comes from America's fucking fat, throbbing fucking penis, okay? And all the war that it wages, like, all the time. Nonstop. You get it?
Algorithmic stablecoin fails, two more crop up with new strategies about how they're going to finally defeat this death spiral. And the most popular...
Yeah, okay, let me... here's a good point. Yeah, you brought up nukes. Exactly. How many fucking nukes does TerraCoin or LunaCoin own, okay? Do you own any nukes? No? Shut the fuck up, okay? How many fucking aircraft carriers do you have? Oh, 0? Oh, I didn't realize that we were just having fun then. We were just, like, throwing money and lighting it on fire. Can you take over an entire government if you want to? How many fucking coup d'etats have you done? Whether it be the Philippines or any other country. Oh, 0. Oh, interesting. Good luck. Good luck with your fucking made up bullshit, okay? This is so lame. Hasanabi does not understand Bitcoin. Yes, and here I am with, you know, my assets intact, and here you are with $0. But you can't fucking tell me I don't know what's going on when I've been saying this for like for 2-3 years now. Okay? And you're like, oh, you were wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Look now, look at this now, look at this now, look at this now, look at this now. And then you turn around, and even in a moment where you're like fucking getting long dicked, you're getting schlonged, okay, shellacked, shafted. All of your fucking wealth is now zero, worth $0, and you turn around and you go, wow, okay, well, I'm still in the right actually.
And successful attempt at this has come from Terra Labs, a company which created Luna and UST. These two coins are extremely popular and in the top 10 of all cryptocurrencies. So the project is massive. And if these coins were to go bust, billions of dollars would vanish. One reason the people have invested so much into UST and Luna is because of a savings protocol called Anchor, which promises people a stable return of around 20%, which is obviously...
I felt the same as you, obviously, for as long as shit start popping again, but I'm kind of surprised the crash of this volume happened so quickly. Yes, I am too. I still think it's ridiculous. By the way, everything that's happening to Luna could technically happen to Bitcoin as well. You would just need more movement than what happened with Luna, obviously. So just remember that. Because the fundamentals are not there. The fundamentals require mass usage, okay? Like, there is nothing. It's just, okay, anyway. And it has happened to Bitcoin before, but BTC maxis won't let that happen. But again, you're relying on little babies, dude. You're relying on people with zero nuclear power, okay? How many nukes does the BTC maxis have? Maximalists. How many? Holy shit, what a terrible take. Okay. Look, I see another, let me tell you something. I see another alternative here as well. Like, I have said this before. I've said this already. Okay? That it's all fake. So is money. I mean, money is fake. It's made up. Understand that, right? Like, you get it. I mean, even anarchists understand this and then they take it to a very different level. Like, it's just bullshit. It's fake. It's made up. All of these concepts that we use to operate a functional society is just completely made up. We're all buying into it, right? And then there's something that fuels that fake bullshit. Like, there's a level of like belief that we all collectively join in on and decide, yeah, no, that's real. It's good for me. Okay. Like, I agree. That's how this works. Okay. And obviously there's like social conditioning that educates you into believing that this is the normal way to fucking approach life. And these are like all, truths that we have all tapped into. It's what you make it. With Bitcoin, you can, isn't that the same logic as fiat? No, I am describing fiat. I'm describing fiat currency right now. I'm literally describing that to you. When I'm saying it's all fake, that's fake as well. Now, the difference is, if enough people have decided that that fake thing is real, it's real now, okay? That's how it works. The problem with cryptocurrency is that there is nothing that is, at the very least, like instilling confidence, because it's just purely a speculative asset, okay? An unverified, unsecured, an unverified, outside of the system security that you're trading on. You get it? And then the problem there is you need some kind of centralizing force that says, no, this is actually real. Okay? You need some kind of insurance. You need some kind of institutional backing. And if your entire purpose around like your decentralized finance operation is that it doesn't have that, it doesn't need that because you believe in like Ancapistan, then it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Like, the blockchain basically is, okay, the blockchain in and of itself is a fun idea, okay? I get it. It's a fun idea. But thinking that the blockchain will reveal all truths and therefore, market corrections will occur as a consequence of like, information spreading because you can't hide anything in the blockchain is the same level of fucking idiocy as David Rubin saying we can Yelp review contractors and therefore there's no ordinance or zoning regulations that are a necessity and that we shouldn't have any kind of regulation from the nanny state. That's how you arrive at this fucking bullshit over and over again. Okay? You need something to centralize and tell everyone like, no, this is legitimate. Okay? This is legit. There's no difference between believing the fucking blockchain as a control mechanism and having that same ANCAP libertarian baby brain that lets you think that like you can Yelp review contractors that are killing people with like shoddy work. Government bad, crypto not part of government, mean crypto good? I mean, yeah. So, by the way, here's Yanis Varoufakis talking about the blockchain as well. Like, I understand. First of all, okay, Yanis Varoufakis on this. Let me just explain something too. I like the concept of the blockchain. I do. Unfortunately, I think it's like the energy efficiency is incredibly, it's just like a gigantic problem at this moment. Like, but I don't have ultimately a problem with more financial transparency. Do you see what I'm saying? Because like one of the best things about like what CoffeeZilla does, for example, is that he can literally, they can literally go in and once they get a fucking wallet, it's over. It's game over. They can follow everything that you're doing, right? But that clearly hasn't stopped people from buying into this idiocy and getting rug pulled non-fucking stop. You get it? Is Giannis low-key jacked? He's high-key jacked, not low-key. All right, let's continue.
Insane, especially given how stable stablecoins are supposed to be. As a reminder, Bernie Madoff only promised a stable return of 10% a year, and the Anchor protocol is nearly doubling that, leading many people to accuse it of being a Ponzi scheme. However, Luna investors, who often call themselves lunatics, say everyone knows these rates are unsustainable and claim they're just being used as a growth tactic to get people into the ecosystem and that they will eventually be lowered over time. As of a day ago, there was $14 billion locked up into this 20% a year free money scheme. And this has been one of the major drivers of adoption. And this 20% return was seen as a great investment for many, right up until the crypto markets went into free fall over the weekend. And Luna and UST were hit some of the hardest of all. Luna fell 50% in one day, and UST actually depegged all the way down to 69 cents. Nice. As for the Anchor protocol, there was roughly $7 to $8 billion withdrawn from the protocol over the course of a couple days. Like I said, billion-dollar bank run. And as of the time of writing, I really do have no idea if UST is going to recover at all. And that's why I brought on my guest today, Bennett Tomlin. He's something of a stablecoin specialist, and you may recognize him from my Tether video. And I couldn't think of a better person to talk to really get to the bottom of this. Bennett, thanks for coming on the show. So this is absolutely insane. We have billions of dollars hanging in the balance here. And I guess my question is, what are the scenarios here? Which ways could this go?
Sure. So the first way this could go is that people continue to lose confidence in this system and try to exit their Terra into Luna, which when you do it below peg, mints more Luna and provides continued downward pressure on the price of Luna, which is the algorithmic stable coin death spiral that's often talked about. Is once the confidence is shaken, it can feed into itself, and as the protocol is trying to protect itself, it's also destroying itself by draining any of the remaining value out. The other option is that Do Kwon and Terraform Labs are able to, using their Bitcoin reserves by partnering with appropriate market makers and venture capitalists, that they're able to, at least for now, get this back to peg. Once they have it at peg, they're going to need to convince the community that this is still a thing worth having confidence in. What you might see, in order to try to get that confidence back, is Do Kwon and Terraform Labs, or perhaps just the Terra community broadly, may try to find a scapegoat, some kind of entity, firm, or person who they can come up with a plausible motivation for wanting to attack Terra.
I'm already finding that, by the way. They're coming out and saying that, centralized banks want to bring Terra down. They want to take down Luna. So you're already seeing that occur. But one of the interesting things I thought about the Luna Foundation Guard or whatever it's called.
Yeah, there's
is
always
that
a
they
big
bought
villain.
Bitcoin to
Yeah, they're blaming Citadel and BlackRock, which, by the way, I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe. But Chatter struggles, Twitter on point. You of all people should be championing cryptocurrency, which gives power back to the people. Dude, how are motherfuckers still saying this? Dude, it's literally a scam, dude. They have already gotten your brain. They've already scammed you, okay? You've already been tapped in. It's not giving power back to the people. It's just milking the fucking middle class, which have like a fucking crumb on the side now. And it's giving that money back to, once again, the wealthy that already, are managing all of this. I finally got your hoodie, Dad. Thanks. Quality's top tier. I'm not a paid chatter. Glad we have received this on the legendary Azam Positivity Week. Yep. Yeah. That's funny. With the collapse of crypto, hoarders of digital apes will look like fools, while those of us who have been hoarding physical apes, previously scorned, now look like geniuses. That's right. And guess what? Me and my apes are never bored. You think an actual ape could ever have the capacity to be bored or boring? Fear not, my friends. My apes are never bored, and they're never boring. Look at this, by the way. Ooh, Tom Brady, President Bill Clinton. Let's go, dude. And Tony Blair. Dude, this is incredible. Too much money, okay? They got too much fucking money, all right? Too much. 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 Look at this. The worst kinds of people, too. Nightmare blunt rotation, absolutely the fucking worst. Oh, my God.
supposedly protect the Luna peg. But since the markets are pretty correlated, when the markets go down like this and you have like an attack on the peg, aren't they selling Bitcoin at a loss to protect Luna and then making Bitcoin crash even harder? Like, am I getting that right? Why would you invest in an asset that would probably be...
By the way, for everybody engaging in like the dunking on the crypto bros and stuff and being like, lol, look at your situation now, like you're fucked or whatever. Honestly, here's another side of this, okay? The global economy isn't doing so hot either currently. So a lot of people who didn't take the additional like crumbs that they had and put it in the fucking cryptocurrency market are also going to see the fucking you just did that. No, I know. I'm doing that, but also at the same time, I am coming at it with the recognition that like even if you didn't fucking do anything stupid, then if you didn't fucking flex nonstop about how you were going to the moon and how everyone's a fucking broke boy and they simply don't understand, you're still probably going to get fucked in a meaningful way. It is just the same as like inflation fucking over the working poor, right? Like, it's just, things are not looking too great. They're not looking too hot. When MH, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. My 401k lost 15k this morning.
be down when you need it the most?
Because I think Daquan's goal with purchasing the Bitcoin...
The wider economic is not tied to crypto. Oh, no, yeah. It's completely unrelated to cryptocurrency. But like, but yes, the American marketplace is not doing so hot. Global markets are not doing so hot either currently.
Bitcoin wasn't really to stabilize the peg or make the Terra system better. I think that the primary goal with purchasing this massive amount of Bitcoin was to make it harder for people who care about Bitcoin to criticize Luna or Terra, because he was on pace to become like one of the single largest holders of Bitcoin in the world. And once you're in that position, you have a lot of influence over Bitcoin, and you can get a lot of things you may want because no one wants you to suddenly market sell $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. That would be very bad for anyone who holds Bitcoin or anyone who holds assets heavily correlated with Bitcoin, which is the entire cryptocurrency market. They've now made it where criticizing Terra, criticizing Luna, and destabilizing their system risks destabilizing a larger portion of the crypto ecosystem as a whole, and as such, many, perhaps all, crypto
I'm laughing at the person sitting in business class of the plane we're riding is plummeting to the ground. Yeah, pretty much.
holders now have an incentive to try to make sure that Luna and Terra survive.
I think also another part of this that we have to talk about is obviously their success with the Anchor protocol, or I call it success. They've been offering these crazy 20% rates of return. Can you explain? It's this weird game. It feels like Bernie Madoff, the whole like you get this really stable return. Actually, it's way over what Bernie Madoff was offering. Can you explain that? I know they're saying that, look, it's just a growth hack, but it feels awful Ponzi-like. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I'm laughing because when Cass and I did our episode on Terra, there's the moment when we talk about this, and Cass asked me, why does this feel like a scam? I'm like, it feels like a scam because they're telling you they can guarantee a 20% interest rate. And when someone tells you that, they're basically always scamming you. That's not a real thing that generally happens. And so for a long time, Terraform Labs was providing funds. Well, they're still providing funds. Terraform Labs is providing funds to the Anchor protocol so that you can get a rate higher than the market can support for lending out your Terra. It did used to be this like guaranteed stable 20% or so, 19 whatever percent yield. They recently did make it so it starts to float a little bit, but it's still subsidized so that you get more for lending it than you pay to borrow it.
Crazy idea.
And
only in crypto, by the way. Only in crypto.
Yeah. Normally that goes the other way. The good faith explanation for what they were doing is that they hoped they could get this big enough that it would actually start being used for like
real things,
commerce or foreign exchange or payments or currency things currencies are used for. But instead, everyone just used it for the free money, and eventually free money ends.
Right. Well, it seems like every time a stable...
So, chatters, when you hear a person that sounds a little bit more like you explain exactly what I've been explaining, does that, a lot of the crypto nerds in the chat, does that give you a little bit more, confidence in what I'm saying, or no? Because he basically just literally described what I was saying earlier when you were like, you're a fucking idiot, you don't know anything. You're like, no, actually, no, fuck that guy too. I'm holding.
And algo stablecoin fails. It just seems like somebody has a new idea for, oh, I know what they did wrong. I'll fix it this time. This is going to be the one true.
See, I wish they had new ideas. That would be.
You don't think they do?
This like Terra is not very meaningfully different from like the economic concepts.
Dude, if you say that about Luna, yes, but ETH and BTC, no, then you're failing to comprehend something that is like at the root of the problem, which is that there is technically, when you look at the fundamentals, no difference between Luna and ETH and BTC. Okay? The only, like, there's no difference between them. The only difference between them is I guess, confidence. Like, that they're not going to fail because enough people have bought into it. There's a huge difference. Okay. Educate yourself on BTC. Look. Just because something is not likely to happen does not mean that it is impossible for it to happen. Okay? I'm not saying that like BTC and ETH are destined for failure in a similar capacity. Okay? I'm simply stating that the fundamentals that make, Luna into worthless nothingness are the same lack of fundamentals that exist within BTC, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Okay? That's the problem. And you're failing to recognize this for some reason. Every time the subject is brought up, it's literally always the same. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why people fucking... That's just not true, lol. Okay. All right. You can say that same thing about the whole stock market, though. Yes, I can. And I do all the time, except there is something... I can't believe I'm defending the stock market, but there is something that you can look to and point to and say, these are the fundamentals when it comes to certain stocks. But more importantly than the stock market, there is the American government, dude. There are financial institutions internationally, and it still fucking fails. It still fails, but there's still like a physical company. There are people working there. There is some kind of value being added. It's fake bullshit that we all made up, but at least like everyone is tapped into that, okay? Your assumption is everyone is going to tap into Bitcoin in a similar capacity, but there's nothing going on behind it. There's no backing. But the reason why a lot of this, I guess, simply works, and it's a little bit different than fucking cryptocurrency, is because there is a regulatory mechanism. That regulatory mechanism doesn't work usually, okay? And it fails a lot, and it's super corrupt. But ultimately, there's some stability afforded to it by the American government and by our institutions and by some semblance of regulatory forces.
Behind Dan Larimer's New Bits from like 2015 or not New Bits BitShares from like 2015, or it's not super meaningfully different from the Titan and Iron Finance one, which
pumping and dumping stocks is illegal at least. I mean, there's literally like the most basic financial protections that are supposed to make the process of trading a safer one so that everyone can fucking tap in and instill some level of confidence within trading does not exist in a decentralized financial system, okay? So if your goal is simply to look at the blockchain will reveal all truths or whatever, if you have that kind of like childlike understanding of the circumstance, then yeah, CoffeeZilla would be, and I do love CoffeeZilla, and Mutahar as well, but they would be literally fucking destroying people right now, okay? But you're still not listening. We watch CoffeeZilla videos all the time, and yet, shitcoins, altcoins, NFTs, rug pulls are still occurring nonstop. The worst part is, or I guess the best part is for Bitcoin maximalists, the evangelists, leading the charge, is that actual institutions are looking into diversifying their portfolios and buying into crypto already. So, so there's that. I find that to be a terrifying prospect because, for the reasons that I already mentioned, which is that the normal financial system is already built upon shaky foundations, and you have companies like fucking Tesla that are incredibly overvalued. You know what I mean? And look at look at the tech bubble, basically a repeat of the .com bubble. You have so much of this happening already without fucking cryptocurrency. And it is terrifying that these big institutions are also now buying into crypto as well, which will only increase the volatility rather than actually bring about some kind of centralized force and some regulatory mechanisms that will make it safer to trade with cryptocurrency.
Famously broke and lost Mark Cuban a bunch
This
of
one
money.
just feels very well funded.
Yes.
And it feels like...
This one's big. I think what makes Terra so interesting is none of the other algorithmic stablecoins have grown.
Stockbroker here, I mean, a majority of the whole market's value is decided by 10 massive tech companies. I mean, yes.
To $18 billion. Do Kwon and Terraform Labs were way more effective at marketing and growth than any of the previous algorithmic stablecoin teams. And because of that, it got to a
stockbroker in the chat. Dude, I have hella stockbrokers. What are you talking about?
Scale and size where it ended up posing this relatively unique
I have
risks
analysts.
to the
I fucking
cryptocurrency
anyway, hold on.
ecosystem that no algorithmic stablecoin has really been able to do before, because they were always so much more isolated. It was a
Right.
lot easier to call many of the older ones Ponzi's or really emphasize the game or the scheme part, because they were a lot less likely to interact with other protocols and to become this more broadly accepted part of the ecosystem. But there's places that had UST as a base pair and stuff for exchanges, right? Like this had started to reach out into a broader part of the ecosystem. Now we're talking about a stablecoin that was able to sponsor a US sports team, right? And so like it's entirely different and it's way more deeply connected. And so seeing it play out in this way has been a bit of a contrast to past algorithmic stablecoin blowouts, and might perhaps give us some idea of what might happen if, say, a stablecoin about 4.5 times the size of Terra were to suddenly become much less valuable.
Frightening, and I hope that doesn't happen anytime.
It's so weird that like the Roaring '20s and the Great Depression is like straight up upon us with wealth disparity at a higher fucking level than it was back then. And in the very same reasons as to why these things happened, you know, rampant monopolization, lack of regulation in any meaningful capacity over the financial markets, like literally all of the same shit is happening again. It is so fucking stupid. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Like it's just like something that I don't know what it is. Where I look at this and I'm like, this is a fucking cliche, okay? Not saying that this cryptocurrency is like cryptocurrency is the same as like the Great Depression. Obviously, like that's irrelevant. It's like, you know, it's like the Great Depression is slated to happen, and people are like fucking buying Beanie Babies or something before it, leading up to it, like. One last big push from the middle class. The cryptocurrency, the crypto markets are completely irrelevant to the grand scheme of things. I'm just saying that like wealth disparity is already at the same level, and I don't know how we have gotten to like such a cliche repeat of history, and perfectly in like at the 100-year mark. And people fucking refuse to recognize it.
Time soon. Thank you so much, Bennett, for coming on and explaining all this stuff to us. Guys, Bennett and his co-host, Cass, have a podcast that I want you guys all to go listen to. You want to shout it out real quick?
Yeah, sure. Cass Pianski and I are the co-hosts of Crypto Critics Corner. You can find it on YouTube or anywhere else